What up, NBA fans? It's your boys at the SLG Network. First
Oh,
episode of BS with the Best. We just gonna shoot the shit, Barber Shop Talk it with y'all. We talking NBA playoffs, NBA playing.
word.
That's what we got.
Let's do
What
the
do y'all
Eastern
got?
Conference first, y'all, because that one seems like it's pretty much settled in.
Yeah, it was a big
I,
game yesterday in that one with the Bulls and the Hawks.
That was a fun one.
the
I know the
Bulls and
Bucks
the Hawks.
playing.
Let's see. You got the Hawks at 8, which means they'll play the Raptors. Me and James talked about this just a second ago. He thinks the Raptors beat the Hawks. I'm not so sold on that.
Ooh,
Wait,
I
so
just feel like
right now, it'd be Heat Hawks. If it ended today, because 7 plays 8, and the winner of that is the 7th seed, and then 9 plays 10, and the winner of that plays the loser of 7-8. That always confuses me, but
it does too, because I just now remembered that you're right.
I
All
always
right.
think it's 7-10, 8-9, but no, it's 7-8. So if you're 7 or 8, you can lose and still win the next one. So we get the battle of the Southeast, Heat Hawks.
Who are you taking in that?
I like the Heat, and we talked about this before the year. I think we differed on who would win that division, and now the winner is going to be the 7 seed. So that's pretty. We both said it was going to be a shit division anyway, but I like the Heat, just the playoff acumen. They got guys who play defense. The best players down a minus on defense. Or you get, unless you argue DeJounte is the best player on the Hawks.
Well, see, by today's logic, now that two-way player is a term, yeah, he's the best player. But offensively, it's Trey. Like, I think Trey. That's the kind of game that Trey has to just go off. He's like, I'm coming to put up 40, and if I do, there's not a guard on your team who can do nothing about it, and that's why the Hawks can win.
Did they play last year in the playoffs?
The Heat and the Hawks last year.
The Heat shut down Trae Young in a big game last year, and I'm blanking
they did.
on if
it was last year. It was in Miami. I want to say it was like not a closeout game, but like a go up game, and they shut him down pretty bad.
Yeah. So that's what I don't know. That's why I would lean Heat, especially in Miami, with their fans showing up in the second quarter for that home court.
But
advantage.
in all fairness, there was a team that was a team without DeJounte. So.
X factor.
Yeah.
I think the X factors of that game would be Trae Young and Bam Adebayo. Like whoever had the better game of those two, that their team would win.
Because Bam is streaky on offense. He has a game where he's hitting those mid-range shots. He's unstoppable. And then the next game, he's, 3 of 8.
But it's not only that. It's like Capella and Ngaku and those guys over there in Atlanta. They're really good players to me. But Bam is different good. Like, and he's faster and more mobile and jumps higher. So he could potentially have a monster like 25-20 game.
I like playoff Trey, but do we trust playoff Quinn Snyder?
Oh, absolutely not.
Year after year in Utah, it was like they should change it up and go small. No, let's keep running Gobert out to guard these small ball fives.
I think I'm going to pick Atlanta. I'm picking Atlanta because I'm a fan of AJ Griffin. Like I think that dude is good.
Yeah,
I want to see him shine in the playoffs.
I like so many of their pieces year after year. It's just the parts are always flashier than the whole. I think the Heat would have a better chance of winning the next game if they lose. Where the Hawks, I don't know. Both the Raptors and the Bulls are a little more physical, especially the Raptors, who just have nothing but length and wingspan. So I think it's a better matchup for the Heat in a way. So
I also feel like
the more important for the Hawks.
The Hawks have too much depth for Toronto and the Bulls, in my opinion. They can go 8-9 deep and be really good if they had to. I don't feel that way about Chicago and Toronto.
I also think there could be some added motivation. The Celtics knocked the Heat out. They were one shot away from beating the Celtics last year in the Eastern Finals. If the Heat can beat the Hawks, they get instant revenge against Boston, which I think is a better matchup for them than the Bucks would be. I mean, played the Bucks 2 years ago in the playoffs and got swept. Different teams a little bit, but essentially the same guys. I think they just match up better with Boston. Jimmy Butler's a uber competitive guy. I could see him wanting revenge. So
that's why I feel like
things pushing them.
Like Bam is the most slept on player in the Eastern Conference because he's a nightmare matchup for Boston. To me, that's why Miami always has a shot at beating that team. It's Bam. That 6'9" Al Horford is not going to play with Bam. You know what I mean? So the only
athletic centers cause him trouble. Yeah.
The only team that takes Bam out of his game is Milwaukee, in my opinion.
With Brooke
and Giannis.
Yeah.
Because they'll put Giannis at the 5 and play a real small ball lineup, and it's like match just Miami, and they can't.
Well, and they'll do the drop defense on him a lot too, and they'll make him make that free throw jumper, and then he'll hit a few, but it's not a sustainable way to keep pace with the Bucks offense.
I just need Miami to win because the Heat are made to play in the playoffs. If they're in the playoffs, that series is good. So
I don't like the Heat, so I'm not going with them.
You don't like Tyler Hero?
They're so damn boring, dog. I don't want to watch this shit.
They are boring, but if you can appreciate a couple quarters of some good defensive basketball.
I don't need to appreciate nothing in the playoffs. I don't want to watch you. I heard everything you said. I'm like, nah, I don't want to see that.
I thought they were going to catch the Nets, but the Nets just keep winning and keeping that 6th spot. So I was looking at the remaining schedules. It's almost impossible for the Heat to catch the Nets, and the Nets swept the Heat this year. So the Nets are basically locked in.
I think the Nets are the easiest elimination in the East, though. Like everybody's chomping for that team, like because they just beat the shit out of Houston because they just shoot the ball, and if it goes in, they win. But I don't think that's applicable in the playoffs. Like they'll figure out.
If one team could collapse against them, it could be Philly.
Oh yes, exactly. If you're playing pick and roll with Dinwiddie and they're hitting their shots, yes,
that would be hilarious.
But I also feel like that could be an easy win for Philly.
Yeah,
and an easy win for Philly might lead to confidence,
which they would need going up against Boston. Now we're just kind of going into the playoffs, but I was watching the Bucks game yesterday, and then I was thinking, I was trying not to think ahead. I was like, the Bucks should be able to handle round 1, obviously. I mean, some of those teams could give them a little trouble, but then I was like, the Cavs are actually pretty scary as a round 2 opponent if you're the Bucks. I think Cavs-Knicks will be an awesome series with Brunson and Mitchell going at it in the Garden and in Quicken Loans. But then you got Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. You have all these bigs, and the Cavs have given the Bucks some problems in the regular season. I ultimately think the Bucks would be favored and should win that series, but the East is going to be really competitive every series, basically, of every round. So to your point, I do agree that I think the Nets, just because they're just shooting wings, I think are the best matchup you could ask for. Almost even more so than the Hawks or the Raptors, because the Raptors just give you problems. Like, you could beat the Raptors, but you still don't want to play them because they're physical, they're well coached. Unless the Bulls make it, I don't think many teams would be fearing the Bulls.
No. The thing about the Bulls is they'll be competitive in every game for like 3 quarters, and then that whole depth problem will catch up to you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's just the way they're built, and that's the downfall of being too scared to lose a player and giving Levine all that money. I'm going to say this. I think at some point inexperience catches up to New York, the Knicks, but I wouldn't want to play them fools. That's a real basketball team right there.
It's a playoff-proven coach.
Yep. You finally have Brunson leading the team and then a bunch of young boys playing with them, so inexperience will catch them. But
it's not like Brunson hasn't been a big player in the playoffs either with last year. I think that was huge for him.
And you see what he means with Dallas, not getting on the West.
But he was playing with house money last year. Like this time the pressure's on you, so I want to see how the difference in that.
Daniel House?
Yeah.
Shout out. Where is he? I just saw him the other day. I think he's in Philly.
He's in Philly with the rest of the Rockets.
He hit a 3 on the Bucks when they were down like 20, and he did the bow and arrow. And I was like, all right.
Brandon Cooks.
I know.
But Cavs Knicks will be fun though. I already know Mitchell's going to be dropping 40 in a game or two, maybe 50. Brunson will be. There's going to be all the should the Knicks have traded for Mitchell
I'll call
storylines.
that series will probably go 6 to the Cavs. That's the perfect opportunity for the Evan Mobley come out show. Like he should go dominate that series. And like this is why I was the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
No better place than Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Yeah.
He has.
It's fun to have the Knicks in the playoffs.
Basketball is just way better when the Knicks are doing good.
Even if they lose in 6, which I agree. I see that 6. Maybe they could stretch it to 7, but
I thought we were being generous with 6 and maybe 5. It's just really like you said, because like, even if Mitchell don't go, Garland is good, bro. It's hard to match up with 2 all-star guards.
That's the thing. Like they built their team. Like their obvious glaring weakness, if you still care about positions, but even if you're just looking at starting 5, is obviously the 3, because their guards are so good with Mitchell and Garland, and then you got Allen and Mobley if they play them together. So they're just so loaded. And then the middle, I like Okoro. I like Stevens in stretches, but I don't know if you can trust those guys too much in the playoff series, but they honestly don't need them to. They just need them to spot up, play defense on the wings. So that'd be a good series.
Be the perfect fit for that team. A small forward who could run off of the screen and shoot it. That'd be perfect for that team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just think that if Cleveland can get more consistency when Mitchell and Garland are doing good instead of one doing great, makes them better. You know, like, I don't need 72 for Mitchell if both of you fools got 25, you know?
It'll be cool to see Garland in a real playoff series, because last year they were so hurt by the time they got to the play-in, it didn't really count. It would be cool just to see Cleveland in the playoffs without LeBron.
Yeah, for real.
It's been a long time.
I think Mitchell has something to prove. I really do. Like, I think he's going to be a star in the playoffs this year.
He's proved me wrong. He proved me wrong this whole season.
But I just feel like all the losses in Utah, if he comes out and he takes his team on a playoff run, he could say, that wasn't me. That was Snyder and that was Rudy. I didn't
Look at Minnesota.
Yeah. That's exactly how that would go. That would be the narrative, at least.
Yeah, this is the time for him to change that stigma that he has, at least right now, on this team.
Oh, I would love to see a Cleveland-Boston matchup. I would love to see Mitchell go up against the Celtics.
Ooh, that would really be fun.
So that would probably be in the Eastern Finals. I'd have to beat the Knicks, the Bucks. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It sounds crazy, but would it be shocking if any of the top 4 teams made it out of the East? I mean, Cleveland would be the biggest surprise, obviously, but wouldn't it be like blown away? I mean,
I could see a path where I would be more shocked if the Sixers make it out of the East more so than Cleveland.
Wow.
Playoff James Harden.
I just don't get Philly. Yeah, you're right. I just don't get Philly. Embiid does his thing.
But what does that mean? I heard a lot of people say that lately, but what does that mean? Like, you do your thing. Because, like, we know what Jokic doing his thing is. That's why I've been to the conference finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I legitimately want Embiid to say, I'm a throwback player. Like, I'm about to carry my team.
Like he did yesterday against Boston.
Yes, exactly. 53. And that doesn't mean monster numbers like Luka. This means, like, when we're in a game and we need a bucket, I'm going to get it. I'm going to make the play. It's just like when we remember the Bucks winning the championship from a couple years ago, all the shit Giannis did, the only play I remember is the block on the alley to win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a championship play. Do that.
Yeah.
I don't need to see you shooting one-leg fadeaways from the free throw line 50 times to make me think that you're good. No, go win a game with your skill.
Yeah.
And I think he does that.
Yeah, like the Luka comparison's good. Like, he scores 50 a game in the playoffs. They don't get past the second round, first round. They might not even make the playoffs this year.
Exactly.
It's flashy. It looks cool, but you got to do the small things. And Embiid needs a moment because he's, always campaigning for MVP. He puts up the numbers, but in the playoffs, and it's not always on him. Like Ben Simmons refused to shoot and all that drama, and year after year, there's always something. There's always an excuse, but eventually, it's all right. This is your. If he doesn't do it this year, I don't know when he's going to do it. Because for a while, it was like, oh, LeBron's in the East, and then it was like, oh, okay, but now Giannis is there. Now Boston's. There's always going to be someone else.
I think that, like, I'm not a fan of Tatum's game per se, but I'm a fan of Tatum because he has those moments. Like, think about the block on Bam in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals to win the. You know what I'm saying? It's like you did that. You went into the playoffs down, going into the fourth quarter, and led a comeback against Golden State. Like, you had a monster game the series before that against Milwaukee. So he has those moments, and like you said, Embiid doesn't. Not to me.
For me, like Embiid, I feel like he always has a scapegoat. Like,
yep,
there's always somebody that they're like, oh, it was this guy's fault. Ben Simmons, James Harden, this and that. But like you all said, somebody takes over. Hey, I ain't worried about that guy. I'm gonna do this shit, and it always seems that way. That he always has a scapegoat. And I mean, you get the MVP this year, you have a bullseye right on your back. This is the year. Go get it done. Get Durant's not in the East anymore. What's your excuse? Like, you have Tatum and Giannis. Get it done. And that's how I feel with him. Like, I'm not a fan of this Philly team.
Do you feel like he's too scared of the moment? Like, he avoids it?
It's tough because he was never the point guard. He never had Jason Kidd make him be the point guard like Giannis, where Giannis could put the ball in his hands. Tatum will bring the ball up for the Celtics. You almost never see Embiid bring the ball up for Philly. And in big moments, he's usually posting up, or they're trying to involve him in pick and rolls or pick and pops. So it's a little easier to disappear when you're not bringing the ball up versus some of those other guys.
But I just feel like, is that true? Because, like, that's how Kevin Durant plays. He don't disappear. Like, there are times when KD will push the ball, but like in a half off of the other team there's a lot of times where KD just takes his ass down there, gets in the mid post, and goes to work. You know what I mean? And he'll do it for the next 2 minutes. The rest of my team can just stand over there because I'm about to put in work. And I don't feel like Embiid does that.
Yeah, like on those Nets playoff teams, like Harden would get the ball late. He would give it to Durant as fast as he could because Durant was the guy. Where Embiid, I don't know what it is. He can create his own shot.
All the shit Kevin Durant did in Golden State in the finals was great. The game 6 he had in the Eastern Conference or the playoffs against Giannis is one of the greatest games I've ever seen. You'll always remember that. The foot on the line game. You know what I'm saying? Embiid just needs
7, yep.
Yeah, he needs something like that.
Even in a loss. Yeah.
Even in a loss. You have to leave it. Like, I never feel like Embiid leaves it on the court. Like, leave it on the court. I never felt like he just isn't like committed to basketball like that.
He always looks, I don't want to just nitpick, but it always seems like he's fatigued quicker and he's had a lot of tough injuries on his knees and back and whatnot, but it's always him holding his shorts in like beginning of the fourth quarter, and he's human. Like, all these guys get tired, but it just seems him more than most just get worn out quicker, and then they don't produce as high of a level. Where Giannis is the Greek freak for a reason, and he's making those blocks at the end of the games. But even guys like Tatum and these other stars, even Luka, pace themselves, I think, better, where they play throughout the game and they're ready to go in the fourth, where Embiid just looks gassed. And it could just be his usage. It could be Doc Rivers isn't a very creative coach. It could be a lot of things, but you're right. This is the year, and they almost have to just smoke the Nets. If they struggle with the Nets, or if it goes 6 or if it goes 7, that's just going to raise all those questions, and then no one's going to trust them against Boston. And then I think Boston could, if Philly's not confident and doesn't do, and Embiid doesn't step up, Boston could win that in 5.
I think my biggest issue with Embiid is that he doesn't face criticism. Like, think about how long, like, there was 2 or 3 years where, like, Giannis heard it all the time. Like, oh, you're just a regular season team, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to do this. Like 2 years ago, Embiid choked in a game 7 against Atlanta. Like, you choked, bro. You let that team beat you. And you don't hear nobody bring that up.
Yep. Yeah, like LeBron, KD, Giannis, they all get hate, and Tatum. Like, all these guys get a fair share of hate.
Embiid and Luka, they don't get that. Embiid, Luka, and Dame Lillard, they don't get that. You know what I mean?
None.
They all get excuses made for them. It's the team. It's the team. It's the team.
Where Dame, it's like he's loyal. He's hit big playoff shots.
But at least he has moments.
He has.
He fucked us up a couple times.
Yeah. Sorry, Dwight.
Yeah. For me, though, it's also, I feel like Embiid wastes a lot of energy on, like, talking to people. Like, dude, always on Twitter. He's always arguing with people. It's like, I get KD got his burners, but, bro, you just spend way too much time on your shit. Like, somebody will say something like Barkley, and he's there. He goes spending energy, making sure everybody knows. Oh, I'm MVP. I'm MVP, bro. Joker ain't even worried about MVP, bro. Joker over here, like I'm ready for playoffs, bro. Everybody's worried about playoffs, and you're worried about this. Your coach is coming out. Oh man, it's over. It's over. This is it.
All that being said about Embiid, I just figured it out. The worst thing that ever happened to Joel Embiid was the day they let Jimmy Butler leave, because he would have solved a lot of those problems for him.
Yep. Yeah, Butler brought that energy, and he could do some of the talking for him. So first round exit, whose status, I guess, would it hurt more to lose in the first round, Jokic or Embiid?
Jokic, or it would hurt Embiid. It would hurt Embiid. Because I feel like, to our point that we just said about Embiid, you could never fault Jokic for anything, because I know you left it there every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you lost, it wasn't your fault. And then if Embiid loses, it's like, well, what were you doing?
Yeah, I've seen Joker carry his team with far less. Also, like
last year, that injured Nuggets team.
Yeah. No, for me, it would be him.
Be honest. If you were a GM and you were about to take one of these, who would you rather have, Jokic?
Jokic.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Facts.
And it's not even really. I don't know. I didn't really have to think about it.
Is Joel Embiid a top 10 player to you?
Yeah.
He was not confident at all.
Not a confident.
He is.
I think he is too, but he's like right around 10.
He's a 10.
Yeah.
Jokic is more durable, and that what do you want to make of that? But also just his vision. He just offers so much more than most players, but especially Embiid. So we never did
would get the most
the other playing game, Raptors Bulls.
Yeah.
Raptors Bulls.
There's a reason I didn't even bring it up to you. I was like,
I know it's a boring pivot.
The Raptors.
Raptors. I ain't even touching that Bulls team. That thing.
Zach's gonna try to talk himself into the Bulls.
I'm trying to talk myself into going to the Bulls right now because of how much I don't like Pascal, but I think the Raptors would win that.
If they got Pat Beverly, bro, you're good.
Yeah, I just feel like the Raptors, they're hard to match up with because everything's switchable with him.
Yeah. I would have rather saw Orlando or the Pacers or the Wizards in there besides the Bulls. So I'm gonna pick the Raptors on that one.
And then can the Raptors beat the Hawks or the Heat in the second plan?
No.
I think they could beat the Hawks.
Yeah, I think they could beat the Hawks. I don't think they're beating Miami in Miami.
Me neither.
No.
Okay, here's the better question. Of the teams who didn't make the play-in, who's the most disappointing?
Disappointing.
Would it be the Pacers?
In the East?
In the East.
I would say the Wizards, just because the Magic weren't really looked at as a playoff contender. So yeah, it would almost the Hornets are trash, Pistons same. So Pacers it'd be Pacers or Wizards. So I think it's just whatever you prefer there. And I say the Wizards just because the Wizards, like, they might say like, oh no, we're rebuilding now, but no, they were going for it. Like, they were going for the playoffs. They had Beal, they had Porzingis. But we traded Rui. It's like, okay, you were going for the play-in, and you failed. So I would say the Wizards.
I had the Pacers only because I just think I didn't have any expectation of the Wizards, but I get it. They had identical records, so
yeah. I'm gonna go with the Wizards because you actually had people you could trade and you just kept them and you goose egged it. So that's y'all's fault. I ain't a fan of y'all anyway, so I ain't tripping that.
Is anyone?
I don't know if they. I have not met one.
Are Wizards fans out there? Hit us up.
When Gilbert Arenas was there, maybe shooting. In
all right, let's switch over to the West. We got.
I mean, this is like impossible to predict who's going to be. I mean,
Denver
the Warriors could be in the play-in.
The first, so they're number one.
You got the Clippers and the Lakers playing right now with a tied record, playing for the 6th seed.
What's the score?
The Lakers are getting the shit beat out of them.
Yeah.
Don't know the score exactly because it's halftime and it was bad. They were losing by like
68 to like 43, I think, or something like that.
Wow, that was a big game too. Lakers have won 4 straight.
I mean, I saw 3 turnovers in a row.
The Clippers are killing them in the paint.
I don't know why. I have a feeling the Clippers aren't falling to play-in. The Clippers, I mean, I just think they're going to be a playoff team. But and the West is so from 5 to, I mean, really 5 till 9 is only separated by 2 games.
Yeah.
So like the Warriors, who are in the 5 now. Can we just talk about the Warriors haven't even won double-digit road games yet?
Nah, it's ridiculous.
They're 9-30.
This is ridiculous.
So they could fall to the play-in, which would be annoying because we were talking about it earlier. Suns Warriors would be an amazing round 1.
That would be good.
That's what we need.
That's exactly. We need those matchups.
I just need Steph to put up 50-point games on Paul. Because I'm pretty sure that the Suns are going to beat the crap out of them. I almost dare say Phoenix wins that in 5.
And
it's just something about the Warriors
the Suns are loaded.
There's just something about the Warriors that's not there. Like,
are you telling me they're going to win a road game in the playoffs?
Oh, no.
Right? Because then they'd be down 0-2. And then
they'll win 1 at home. 1-1 at home and then lose away.
Yeah,
see, like this Lakers Clippers game is for more than just the spot because the 6th seed will get, them damn Kings in the first round.
Well, they can't even beat the Mavericks. They lost to the Mavericks today. That would have almost eliminated the Mavericks. So,
who would you rather play in the first round, the Kings or the Grizzlies?
Kings.
I agree. I think they're easier out.
I would rather play the Kings than the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Suns, Warriors, Clippers, Lakers. Who would you rather play, Lakers or Kings? I'd rather play the Kings than LeBron and AD.
I'd rather play the Lakers because they're soft.
Yeah, and you have D'Lo, so yeah.
I'd rather play the Kings only because playoff LeBron gets his calls, and that's the only reason why.
Yeah, I'd rather play the Kings because I'm a tool and I don't know anything.
Yeah. I don't have any legs, remember? Hey.
You don't know ankles.
You made our ankles, yeah. Kings, you made it. There you go, man. Like, I mean,
I'm telling you, we're pretty dead set on. We were dead right on the majority of that, though.
Yeah.
So just say it stays the way it is. 7-8 Lakers Pelicans. Who you got?
Oof, Lakers. Well, yeah. I mean, Zion will be back, I guess, or might be back, but he hasn't played in how long? Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Anthony Davis trade battle.
Nothing in the world would be funnier to me than if the Pelicans beat the Lakers.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
It would be so hilarious to me because Zion is the person who could change that. Yes. Man, that would be hilarious.
It would
Zion
be. I don't
see
see it.
LeBron. Hey.
Timberwolves Thunder 9-10.
So I think the Thunder are gonna beat out Dallas for that spot. So
you think?
I think
half
so.
game.
They're tied now because Kings lost to Dallas.
Yeah, but the Thunder have the tiebreaker. They play the Jazz tomorrow. You think they could win that? I honestly like the Thunder. Well, Thunder against that's a weird matchup.
Who,
It would just be
Thunder?
Shea and Edwards kind of going back and forth. I almost like the Thunder, honestly, in that. But no, I think the
I was gonna
Timberwolves
say
are a
no.
little more
I
battle
don't know.
tested. Yeah,
I
like
agree
the
with
Wolves.
that part of it, but I think that it's hard for the Timberwolves to match up with the speed and length at the wing positions and Josh Giddey. I would take the Thunder over the Timberwolves.
I just see Cat going 2 for 12. Rudy Gobert going 1 for 5 with 3 travels. I could just see it. Like, you can see the recipe, and that win for where the Thunder are compared where everyone thought they'd be this year would mean so much. I think everyone makes fun of the T-Wolves last year for celebrating the play-in, whatever. But if the Thunder were able to win a play-in game, that's a big. I think that's kind of big for them. It's a lot bigger than the T-Wolves, and then they will go on to play the Pelicans or the Lakers.
Dude, it's another one of those playing with house money situations. You don't have to win. You just have to play. You have to show up and not get blown out. Like 3 years ago, Memphis did that against Portland. They lost a really close game to Portland in the play-in game, and then they were kind of like skyrocketed after that. So the Thunder just have to show up and show that they belong, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I actually think they could beat Minnesota because I think Minnesota sucks. To be honest with you, there's Mike Conley goes over there. He steadied the ship a little bit because him and Gobert got back to playing that Utah pick and roll basketball. But you're gonna need more than that to beat the Thunder, I think.
You need that.
What about the Mavericks? The Mavericks get the 10 spot.
They beat the Timberwolves too, also because I mean,
the only one of the Timberwolves that scared me is Ant. That's it. Ain't nobody else on that team where I'm like,
Well, I just feel like any team that has a good ball handler is going to beat the Timberwolves because they're going to make Rudy get his big ass out there and move his feet. And if you're not, then Cat, I dare you to try.
And who's Mike Conley going to stop?
Yeah, and then Jalen Williams. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
but you better make those shots because Dallas can't rebound with Minnesota.
Bro, they got Christian Wood, bro. They good. They're X Factor.
Okay.
I hope it's the Thunder.
I want to see, as much as I would be happy for the Thunder, I want to be spoiled, and I want to see Kyrie and Luka in the playoffs. Because if they lose, I'm going to laugh. If they get eliminated, I'm going to laugh.
I guess what I'm saying is I would be really pleased to see a Pelicans Thunder game for the A spot.
I think I agree. I think the real basketball junkies and basketball nerds would like that more, but Nick's also right. I wouldn't mind seeing Luka and Kyrie going against say the Pelicans beat the Lakers. If you get Lakers Mavericks for the 8th seed, I think the Lakers win that, but still, that's must-see TV.
You never know because literally one of Kyrie's first games over there was Lakers Mavericks on a Sunday. They blow the Lakers out by 20 for 3 quarters. Jared Vanderbilt comes in there and turns the game around because LeBron didn't have shit to do with that. And the Lakers win by a point. So I think the Mavericks could beat the Lakers.
Another reason why is I'm from Texas. And if the Dallas Mavericks are the only closest thing to getting the playoffs compared to the other two, if they don't make it, this is the first time since they've been established that no Texas team has made the playoffs.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's crazy. You've had so many dynasties between the 3.
So that's why I'm kind of like,
I don't know about dynasties, but you've had a lot of titles.
To you, Luka, and you failed us.
And then the 4th closest would be the Pelicans because we're Gulf Coast, and if they don't make it, they would really suck.
And then the whole South sucks right there.
Yeah, that'd be rough. What about Oklahoma?
And
no.
They can keep
the Red River, Dallas is kind of the cutoff if we're going to be honest with you. But we'll go all the way to the Red River.
We don't claim them much, but
damn, yeah. I mean, it could change in the next couple days. I mean, there's only a couple games left, but yeah, if the Lakers do end up losing tonight, that's big because you want home court against the Pelicans. Pelicans are actually a pretty good home team. They're 11 games above 500 at home.
I think the only problem with the only reason I've lost any faith in the Pelicans is because the injury changed the way they played a little bit. But if they get everybody back healthy, I think that's a scary ass team.
And they've turned it on lately, which is the time to do it.
Oh, if at full strength, healthy, both teams healthy, I would love to see the Pelicans in Memphis. That would be a series to me. Imagine Alvarado and Ja.
That would be fun. Would that be better than Lakers Memphis?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because you would have like Dylan Brooks and Ingram, Desmond Bain and CJ, Zion and I just think it match up. And then you got the Najee Marshalls, Herb Jones, those guys.
Oh, Zion Ja from that same draft. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Exactly.
It'd be so much
Vucevic and Steven Adams going at it after they were traded for each other. You know, that'd be
shit.
You know what?
Yeah, screw it. Come on, Pelicans.
Give me that over Kyrie and Luka getting in. Give me that.
Exactly.
And that would be sick. That would drop the Lakers to the 8, and then you'd have Lakers Nuggets. Yeah, if the Lakers won the second playing game. But
the only thing that I would like to see more than that, which is it's highly unlikely because of the first round matchup, would be Warriors in Memphis. But I think that's highly unlikely. Or Phoenix and New Orleans.
Let's see the Warriors. So the Warriors to finish the year have the Kings, who I don't know if the Kings will be playing anyone because they're kind of locked in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can catch Memphis. So
they're probably going to be locked in at 3. Yeah,
but they have the Kings and the Blazers. So yeah, they're probably winning both those.
Because they lost today and Memphis lost, so they're kind of just stayed the same.
So then, so it'd be the Clippers and the Warriors battling for the 5-6. I don't know why you would want the 5.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, man. That might be one of those things that's just worth rolling the dice because it's like, I play Kevin Durant because there's a real good chance this idiot might hurt himself. And this is going to get a lot easier.
Do you think a team will puss out and try to lose in the last game of the season to avoid the Suns? Because it could be a tie between the Lakers, Clippers, Warriors.
I don't think anybody can afford to do that. There's so much uncertainty. I don't think anybody's
because you could drop to the play-in.
Yes, I don't think anybody can afford to do that.
Damn it, the play-in actually is a good idea. Damn it.
I know. Now it's working.
Yeah.
I do think, though, for sure, out of those 3 teams, I mean, you look at who would go up against Durant, LeBron versus Durant. You have Curry and them versus Durant. You'd have Kawhi versus Durant. Like, that is just matchup.
That's the best, for the sake of good basketball, the best matchup is the Clippers in Phoenix, in my opinion.
Yeah. Ooh,
if Paul George can be healthy for that, yeah.
Get to see Eric Gordon on that team.
I'm talking about some star power in that one.
I mean, there's really going to be no skippable series in the West, I think. Unless, like, some weird shit happens. We get, like, Thunder. But even, like, Thunder Nuggets, or maybe, like, T-Wolves Nuggets, I think the Nuggets would just sweep them.
But also, like, I don't know. I think that would be one of those things where, like, you go into it and it's like, all right, we all know the Timberwolves are going to lose, but Edwards, do you have 3 30-point games in you or something? Like, put your name out there. You know what I mean? Because I feel like he's kind of being left behind a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah. So there really isn't a dull series because Kings Clippers, we get the 170-point rematch. And then Kings Lakers has a lot of history. California series. Yeah.
Who gives the Kings the best matchup to move to the next round? Like, who should they want to play?
The Warriors. Because they're not healthy enough to play good defense. Like, I really feel like if they started a playoff series today, that the Kings would beat the Warriors.
Wow.
And that they haven't been good on the road either. So going into Sacramento, that place is going to be jumping.
Right. I was going to say the Pelicans, but for the Pelicans to get to 6, it'd be tough. So it's almost definitely going to be a Cali series. which is cool. But yeah, I don't think they want unless Paul George is hurt, then you'd want the Clippers. But if everyone's healthy, yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna lie,
agree. The
like
Warriors have flaws. Too many.
they're just not right. Like they haven't been right all year. They're if this guy's good, then that guy's hurt, and then when he comes back, then he gets hurt.
But they have Curry. But everyone's like, oh, they're defending champs. They'll figure it out. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. I don't think that matters as much as people think.
It doesn't matter when you're not playing. Like people don't realize how good of a run Andrew Wiggins went on.
And he hasn't played in a long time, in months.
And he's not there. You know what I'm saying? And Jordan Poole, like you're at some points relying on him to be the best player, the best facilitator for you. And it's not what he does. Like you're asking too much from that guy. And let's just be honest, Klay Thompson ain't Klay Thompson from 2019 because
Klay took a step back, Draymond took a step back. I mean,
they have no depth.
Yeah. Gary Payton Jr. You're getting nothing from him. Wiseman's gone. They're just behind the 8 ball. So like that's why I feel like it's the perfect time for Sacramento to kick them in the ass.
I'd rather have Kings Warriors than Suns Warriors. Suns Warriors, yeah. I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't want to get, and as Kevin Durant's my favorite player in the league, I don't want you to get the satisfaction of beating that team while they're down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you make it to the next round, they make it, then all right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then do your thing, KD. But, yeah, I would like to see Sacramento. I mean, I think that would be the perfect thing for them. Sacramento goes in, they play the defending champs. You knock them
run
out.
the identical offensive system. So, I mean, there's going to be my only thing about the Western Conference, and I'm not hating on them. It's like I don't want to see a team like Dallas, who are underachievers, do enough to get into the playoffs and then lose in 5 to Denver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want a legit playoffs this year. Like I want 6, 7 competitive games. Like talent is there, and like joking aside with Luka and Kyrie, yeah, I like it, but when it comes down to playoff basketball, it's totally different. And who you're gonna rely on Christian Wood at the end of some of these games and get the hell out of here. Like
it's like what'd you post earlier? It's like he plays like Harden, and Harden carried a bad team. I don't want to see Luka and the rest of these fools come down here and shoot 63 pointers. I really don't want to just see that. It's boring.
Yeah. That's that regular season stuff. I already seen it all year. I'm good. Playoffs. I want good playoff games. I want people that maybe stopped watching NBA, people that didn't want to watch it because of last year, to come back and enjoy some of these games again. And the West is where you're gonna get it at, because I mean the East has some great teams. Don't get me wrong, but the West is stacked. Like we're seeing, it's gonna go down to the wire for sure. And
I think the West has more star power. The East has better teams.
I could see that. Yeah,
this is gonna be the best. I think this is gonna be the best pound for pound round one we've had in a long ass time. Because I
agree with that.
What series? There's always that series they throw on NBA TV that no one wants to watch. It was usually like the Pacers or when the Hornets make it. But like, what is that series going to be? If you look at these potential matchups, it's tough to.
It's going to be the Kings.
It could be. It could be one of those Kings Warriors games where both teams put up 140 or something. You know what I mean? But it also could be like one of those Cleveland versus Knicks games that starts earlier than the rest of them, and it ends up like 105 to 103, and you're like, damn, that was a basketball game. It didn't seem like it because they didn't score shit, but that was a basketball game.
But think about it, we're getting double headers. Oh, that's going to be so much fun to watch an intensity game and then go to the next one. It's just,
I really hate to see the playoffs though without my boy Dame Lillard.
Yeah, it kind of feels weird.
Yeah, if we're going to do the most disappointing team in the West, I know they've had injuries. Everyone's had injuries. I think it's Portland.
If the Mavericks don't make it,
Dallas. I mean, yeah, that's true. Dallas. Trading for Kyrie midseason's a win.
To me, whoever's don't make it is the answer to that question, because it's in the realm of possibility for it to be Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Mavericks, Trailblazers.
Yeah. I have to go with the Jazz. And the only reason why I'm going to say this is you had to go with the Jazz. For me, is you actually were competing this year, and you were at the very top, and we called it. You're going to slip down. You're gonna slip down, and now guess what? Now you're in the lottery, bro. You're in the late lottery. Welcome to the lottery again, bro. You could have traded some stuff. You know, you got rid of Mike Conley for me, but no, you didn't do what I needed you to do.
But like, is it like a win or a loss for him? Because we hit literally that's if you look at their record, 36-43, and the Mavericks 37-42. It's like this is what a team looks like when y'all are spending everything to look as bad as we do, and we just held the league hostage.
We just got really all the first round picks. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like we held the league hostage and y'all look stupid. So of course we suck, but
I'm just talking about this season because you actually thought you had a chance of winning just because you had an all-star on your team. And
that's some dumbass.
Like
that's some fans smoking that dope.
Now going forward, I would definitely rather be Utah Jazz than the Dallas Mavericks. You don't even know if you're keeping Kyrie. You're still talking. Mark Cuban came on talking about why they didn't keep Jalen Brunson. It's like, bro, that was way long ago. Nobody cares about that anymore. That was y'all's fault. Like,
you dropped the ball there.
He's like, oh, it's because when the parents got involved. That's why I was like, nobody cares, dude. It's April, bro. It's playoffs. Worry about your team getting in. That's all we care about right now.
Yep, and now you're gonna lose Christian Wood for nothing. So,
dominant player. Ouch. I do hope though, out of all these, I hope Ja, after all his drama, comes out and plays like Ja. I hope Paul George comes back healthy. I want to see healthy, good basketball. That's just really what I want to see.
I agree. I want Ja to do good. He's too good of a basketball player to be doing dumb shit. So I wanted to see him quit fucking up. I just think they need to get Dylan Brooks off that team.
Head case. Yeah.
Get him off that team, and other than that, y'all could be the good little loafer wearing boys.
As of right now, the Lakers are catching up to the Clippers, so we don't even know what the hell is going to happen.
Yeah, I was reading if the Clippers went out, they would pass the Warriors. I guess they have the tiebreaker in that scenario. So then that would drop because they both play the Blazers once and someone else. So yeah, it's all going to come down to the end, but yeah, we'll see. I would avoid the Suns, but whatever.
I'm trying to think of who's on the Suns bench.
They did lose their bench depth and versatility when they, got rid of Bridges.
You still got Campaigns.
So, yeah. Cam Johnson's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, I don't want to play Durant and Booker. That's the thing.
Even Aiden. I think Aiden's a little bit underrated in some regards. Like, he's a good center to have. He's not a superstar, but
that's the problem. Is there's nothing wrong with Aiden as a player because he's a star in his role. The problem is you're the number one overall pick
in the Luka draft.
So the only reason you would actually be criticized more if Bagley wasn't such a bust.
In the Bagley draft.
Yeah. Trae Young.
Oh man.
Yeah, Kings.
Your Kings, yeah.
You can light the beam all you want. You still drafted Bagley over Luka or Trae Young.
Yeah, that doesn't fix anything. You know what? Yeah, I hope y'all lose. Yeah, just get out of the first round. I'm ready to get there.
Congrats on the playoff drought.
Well, NBA fans, let us know your team, rep your team. Unless you're Sacramento, I don't care to hear about it. But rep your team. Let us know who you think, who you want to see in the playoffs, who you want to see in the play-in. We're going to be doing, I'm sure, some live games for y'all, keeping y'all busy and all the excitement, doing some videos as the goes on. We'll be doing the draft coming up soon. There's a lot of stuff coming up this summer for us. Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all like, subscribe to the network. Let us know what team you're repping, and we're out, guys.